The Wake County Veterans Services Office assists eligible veterans, their dependents, and/or surviving spouses, children of deceased veterans, members of the Reserves or National Guard, and active duty service members in applying for essential benefits and services from the Department of Veterans Affairs and the North Carolina Division of Veterans Affairs. Joining us to talk about the services offered is Douggy Johnson, Director of the Wake County Veterans Services Division. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Eric.
First thing, can you talk a little bit about what are some of the services offered in the county's Veterans Services Office?
Yes, sir. Back in 1981, the county created the Veterans Services Office. Someone thought it would be a good idea to have assistance for claims, VA claims. We moved organizationally from human services into community services back in 2006, shortly before I came on board. And ever since then, we actually moved physically from 567 East Hargett Street to where we are now at 3000 Falstaff Road. If you think self-sufficiency and anything that one would need to be self-sufficient, the VA pretty much offers that. We were talking anything from disability to health care, education benefits, insurance, the whole 9 yards. There's burial benefits, but yes, there are many veterans benefits that are available, and my office is ready and willing to assist with each one.
There is a unique need for this office in this community, isn't it?
I think so, and I think that the leadership, the county leadership that established the office in the early 80s, they had incredible foresight to establish the office. It could be very intimidating, a very daunting task for a layperson who just wanted to serve his country, her country, to want to follow up on with benefits. For instance, the first look you get when you file a disability claim is a 6-pager written in very high-level bureaucratese. Now, my office is very familiar with the nuances of the VA. We have a great working relationship with the North Carolina Division of Veterans Affairs, which we're accredited through, and ultimately key individuals at the VA regional office in Winston-Salem to be able to facilitate things a bit.
Now, what about, obviously, the veterans can be served in your office, but we mentioned earlier in this segment that dependents as well?
Absolutely. There are some dependents benefits. Of course, there are certain qualifiers that they must have. For instance, dependency indemnity compensation would be to a surviving spouse, unremarried surviving spouse of a vet that passed away from a service-connected disability. And then there's the death pension piece, where survivors of wartime vets who don't have a whole lot of money, but they have considerable medical expenses, can get some assistance with medical expenses. One thing that I wanted to mention, you kind of reminded me of something to say. We do have the ability to serve veterans at the regional offices or regional centers that the county has. We're at the Eastern Regional Center the second Wednesday of each month. We're at the Northern at the third, and we're at the Southern down in Fuquay-Varina the fourth Wednesday of each month. We do have the ability also to go to a surviving spouse's home, or even a veteran who's not able to get into our office physically, and go to their home to help them with this as well.
And any upcoming events, and how can citizens and veterans and their dependents, active duty, find more information about Wake County Veterans Services?
Absolutely. Well, we just missed the Capital Area Veterans Stand Down. We had that back in mid-October, so we just missed that. But of course, there's the Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and 4th of July holidays, where there's typically parades, and there are folks that are, offering free benefits for veterans. Like, for instance, on Veterans Day, Golden Corral offers a free meal to the vets, and I think there are a couple other restaurants that do that as well. We always get tagged by employers looking to hire veterans. They reach out to us, and we have to refer them over to the Department of Employment Services. But there's a lot of love for the vets out here in this community.
Well, great, and thank you so much for not only serving this country, but leading the Wake County Veteran Services Office.
I really appreciate that. You know, it's my pleasure to serve, and I really admire the men and women that I help, whether they served or they are a loved one of someone that served. It's a labor of love. It's almost like putting the uniform back on. Thank you for interviewing me today.
Thanks, Dougie.